So at Michigan right now, let's look at the question from Chris here. He said, what are your thoughts on the latest Harbaugh to the NFL rumors? I think it's going to happen. That's what I think. Now, I don't know which place is going to be the landing spot, but I think it's pretty obvious at this point. I saw Dave Biddle the other day from Bucknuts put out something that I think I concur with. He said, it's not a question of whether Jim Harbaugh wants to go to the NFL. Feels like it's more of a question of whether an NFL franchise will have Jim Harbaugh. I think this will be made a lot clearer down the road, but if you put a pin on this date, January 30th and 29th and 28th, last week or so, I think that's where it's going to turn out we've ended up being. And that's where it's going to turn out Michigan has ended up being. They're in a position, Ward Manuel, the AD up there, and the entire administration, you never know what's going on behind the scenes. You never know how much communication there is behind the scenes. But I guarantee you that's going to end up being reality. And so there are reports out, and there have been reports out the last couple of days. Sam Webb on the Michigan Insider, which is our 24/7 Michigan site, has confirmed that, of course, there's mutual interest, confirmed by multiple outlets now between the Vikings and Jim Harbaugh. They've had reportedly exploratory talks. It seems like they're probably going to meet in person this week. So anyway, it's obvious there's mutual interest between Jim Harbaugh and the NFL. And then you got rumors today, all this is unconfirmed, but it's widely held speculation that there is mutual interest maybe between Miami and Jim Harbaugh. Funny, if you've been paying attention to what's been said out of Miami over the past month compared to what you're hearing out of Miami today. So what's happening here? Well, I'm going to be selfish for a second. We're a college football show. So if Jim Harbaugh leaves, once he hits the exit door, we on this show are pretty much done with Jim Harbaugh. That's no disrespect, but we are a college show. We don't delve into the pro game a whole lot. So our next question immediately becomes, who in the world is going to be the head coach at Michigan? And I was over on the board earlier on the Michigan Insider, and that's, of course, a very popular topic and has been since these rumors were first whispered. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to reiterate what I think, and I don't know where they're going to go. Michigan oftentimes has their own operational way of doing things, but I would not go a first-time hire at Michigan because I don't believe I have to. I believe the stature of that job is such that I can have my pick from several qualified candidates with proven head coaching track records. And so you could think that that's Hafley, or you can think that's Matt Campbell, or you can fill in the blank there. But I know there's going to be some push internally maybe to keep an insider on board like a Josh Gaddis on board, because then you have continuity with the staff. If you value that, it's your program to run. It's not my program to run. But I really, just from a 30,000-foot standpoint, or it's probably more than 30,000 feet, to be honest with you, between Nashville and Ann Arbor. But from where I sit, that Block M there, the profile of that program over the last decade, when's it ever been higher? When's that ever been a more attractive job? I mean, credit Jim Harbaugh. If he leaves, he's riding out on the crest of a wave. This is not a trough. This is a crest of a wave. And that's an attractive program. You've broken that sort of invincible seeming veneer of the Ohio State curtain that had just engulfed you. You won the Big Ten championship. So a lot of things that people thought Michigan wasn't going to be able to do anymore, ignorantly, they just did a bunch of them. You can go find a proven head coach. And that's where the attention's going to be. And look, I know a lot of people probably watch this all play out and say, well, Michigan's got to wait to see what Jim Harbaugh is going to do. No, they don't. They'd be complete morons if they were waiting for Jim Harbaugh to see what he's going to do. You get your list, you do your due diligence, you work the back channels, and you make sure you've got every wheel greased that you need to have greased, to where if Jim Harbaugh walks in your office in 5 minutes, throws up the deuce emoji and walks out, you're already on the phone. And you're already 10 miles down a 20-mile road of what it takes to get your replacement in there so that you can seamlessly transition administrations. That's where Michigan's head's got to be. And look, if Harbaugh walks in and says, I'm staying, then that's good. All you do is you go, that's good, Jim. I never doubted you for a second. I absolutely never doubted that you were gonna leave us. That's great. And nothing's lost at that point. But man, they better have their ducks in a row, and I think they probably do.